What's up, Bladers? Today we got another awesome Beyblade Burst unboxing. We got the B187. What's up, Bladers? Today we got another awesome Beyblade Burst unboxing. We got the B187 Beyblade Burst DB Savior Valkyrie Shot 7. Not only does it come with the awesome Bay, but comes with a new launcher with the power gear unit, making it a lot stronger than a normal launcher. We also got the V gear for Dynamite Belial. And yeah, and Valkyrie is a jumping bay with rubber and an awakening gimmick. Got our boy Vault right there, the OG protagonist of Burst. The sides, high and low mode. The back. Of course, the parts are the Valkyrie core, Savior Blade, the 7 armor, and the Shot driver. Once again, that is the power gear launcher. And that is the V gear for Belial. And there is a chance for you to get the red version that is from Rashad in the Beyblade Burst anime. But I didn't get that. I'm actually happy I didn't get Rashad's version of Savior Valkyrie because, personally, I wanted the standard version. Alright, so for Savior, we're actually going to start off with the driver. And this is Shot. As you can tell, Shot is a disc-integrated driver. Has the prongs here. A little bit of metal to make it really heavy. Weigh about the same as a regular disc and driver combination. And, you know, the last time we had a disc-integrated driver like this was generated from the GTE system, so it's been quite a while. So the overall tip for Shot is a very thin, semi-flat tip. Almost looks like a sharp, but in battle, it basically acts like Reboot, where a flat tip will come out to increase the combination's aggression. When it does come out, though, it will cause the bay to jump as it is spring-loaded. So Valkyrie will do short little hops in the stadium before it will properly accelerate. It's not going to, like, jump above the actual stadium's, like, barrier or anything. It's not super crazy. But it's definitely an interesting driver. It's Reboot, but it jumps. So, because of that, Savior Valkyrie is the jumping Beyblade. We got the 7 armor. Unfortunately, some of the stickers fell off, but oh well. But you can tell there are 4 points on this side and 3 points on that side. So 7 is pretty unbalanced, which is nice. It does work for an attack type. It is a little weird that they didn't give it like the 3 armor, for example, but it's cool. At the end of the day, 7 does represent the amount of Valkyries that existed before Savior was made, so that's pretty cool. It's a nice callback to Valkyrie's previous forms. Here we got the Savior Blade. So Savior consists of 3 large swords for main attack power, but also has these 3 smaller blades here. All the red on Savior is composed of rubber. So of course this does improve its attack power by increasing the friction. The rubber is also a lot softer compared to that of the rubber on Brave, which is definitely a nice buff. Nice crimson red. Speaking of which, the little rubber pieces here, right? The very edge of this rubber blade will wear off. This will then expose the actual swords of the Savior Blade and improve Valkyrie's attack power. And that, of course, is called its awakening. Pretty interesting that they moved Valkyrie's like awakening gimmick from the driver to the lair, kind of like the Dragon Bays. Overall, though, Savior is definitely a top tier blade for attack, and you should definitely get this. It's really good. Finally, we got the Valkyrie core. So overall, it has a horizontal appearance, which I actually like because they can add more detail with like the feather wing designs on the actual face of Valkyrie. Nice gold on the edge. And what's cool about the Valkyrie core is that it is spring-loaded. It can perform bound attacks. Unfortunately, that's kind of causes issues. Valkyrie, the overall stock combo for Savior Valkyrie does not have the best burst resistance. It doesn't have a dash driver. It only has 2 teeth like Slash Valkyrie, and they're not even as blocky as Slash. And a bound attack can cause Savior to skip its own teeth. So, because I don't want it to suck, because let's face it, the stock combo does kind of suck, I ended up cutting, ignore that vibration, that was my phone. I ended up cutting a piece of an extra Gen weight and gluing it into the very center of the core. So that way the driver will rub up against the Gen weight and add more friction to increase the combination's burst resistance. So, if you get Savior Valkyrie, I recommend doing that. Or, you can just customize it. Sometimes the stock combos aren't always the best, Here's Savior Valkyrie in high mode. And here's Savior Valkyrie in low mode. That's the bound attack. So I haven't actually tested out this mod yet for Savior, but hopefully it does make it a lot better. So here is the V gear. It's a very small, thin piece of metal that goes on Dynamite Belial's Venture driver. What's really interesting is that when you push it inside the Venture driver, let me have the camera focus a bit. When you actually assemble it, you can see as when I push it in, the spring inside compresses a little bit. This gives Belial significantly better burst resistance, because the driver is pretty much as tight as a dash now, which is really sick. Also, the wider base gives Venture a lot better LED. Wouldn't say it's necessarily top tier, because it's still not as good as like Zone, Dash plus Z or whatever. But, I mean, Belial still had great stamina for an attack type, already good stamina for an attack type. So, this just makes Belial's already pretty nice stamina even better than before. So now Belial has the F gear and the Venture gear, so just 2 more gears until we get perfect Belial. And here is the power launcher. So for the most part, it's pretty much a standard DB launcher, except it's blue and gold. But the gold piece, the gold gear unit, is what's different. That is the power gear unit. Obviously, it has a slightly different design. Has more of a V shape here, and it says the words power. It's a little more bulkier. What's different, really, is that this gear inside of it, when you compare it to the standard gear unit for the regular DB launcher, is a little smaller. And that actually gives it increased amount of rotations compared to the normal one. So let me assemble and count the amount of rotations it has. So it has 13 total rotations. I'm not going to count the original one, though, because I know the original one has about 10.5 rotations. So 3 more rotations to compare to the standard DB launcher. That is pretty sick. I'm hoping it is better than the normal DB launchers, because, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of hate the DB launchers. I've used a total of 6 of them. 3 of them broke, and one of them just does not work with the DB base in high mode. I do not know why. Like, if I try to launch a DB bay in high mode, it just flies off like crazy, as if the launcher got jammed. But it's not jammed. I honestly don't know what the issue is. So, I kind of have a more negative opinion on DB launchers, to be honest. So, I'm really hoping this Power Gear launcher is not like the other ones. Alright, let's get into test battles. I'll put Savior against all the DB bays and Brave Valkyrie, since Brave is its predecessor. So thankfully, this mod does improve Savior Valkyrie's biggest problem, that being its burst resistance. It can take pretty big hits now. So I definitely recommend you do the same idea. You take a gun weight, cut it in a very thin piece, and somehow tape it or glue it inside the core. And watch as Savior Valkyrie just becomes a lot better. Probably this is how it should have been. Although I still wouldn't say it's the best stock DB Bay, because I mean, shot isn't that good. It's a driver that's fun to use, but competitively wise, it's just not good at all. The power gear launcher is also pretty cool. I still would say I prefer the sparking launchers because they just retract a lot easier than the DB launchers. So you can have one sparking launcher, just use it for like 2 bays. With this launcher, I can only launch 1 bay because it will take too long for it to retract before I can launch another bay. But still, it's alright. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you all next time for more Beyblade Burst unboxings. Finally.